should be better. Okay, that's good.
All right, guys. So, hello. Before I take any more questions, I want to say this real quick. A population and a sample are both groups of things. When you identify the population, you got to make it really clear that you mean all. If you said the population is dogs, if I said, hey, if I just said there's dogs next door, yeah, you're thinking 2 or 3 dogs, right? If I said all dogs are next, that's holy shit. All dogs have trekked to my next door neighbor and have invaded their place. All dogs in the world. I mean, holy crap. So when you're talking about the population, you really should use the word all or every or something to designate that it is. So you'll see me say which, a lot, because you have to be specific. So a lot of guys, your answer for population and sample are the same. Population, dogs. Sample, dogs. Oh, what? No, they have to be, population is the entire group. Sample is a subgroup. Now, I had a question earlier about parameter and statistic. Parameter, population, statistic, sample, right? But parameter is not the population. You with me? Population and sample are groups. Parameter and statistic are analyses you do on the groups. So they could be the average something, or they could be the percentage of something. So if I said the 92% of all dogs like to have their ears scratched, that's a parameter because I'm talking about all dogs. I'm talking about the population. If I said 92% of the 38 dogs I selected like to have their ears scratched, that would be a statistic because it's a numerical description of a sample. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I like it. So I understand, I mean, these are kind of new terms, and I'm okay with saying a few things a few times, and that's fine because sometimes it gets mishmashed when you hear it once. Okay. Anything else specific about homework or general questions about how things work?
Will we be going over how to the frequency today?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, that I just forgot which section that was in. Apparently it's in 1, 2, but that leads right into chapter 2. So I kind of like to do it all at once because once we set up the table, we can do more with it in chapter 2. So I just do it all at once.
And we can resubmit our homework whenever we want, just before the final exam, correct?
Yes. So focus on new homework, and I will be focusing on grading new homework. I already had somebody come at me saying, I turned my corrections in. Why haven't you looked at them yet? Holy shit. I got a lot of students. I'm focusing on grading new homework. You have until the day of the final to turn in corrections, and you probably should get help. Don't rely on the person who made the mistakes in the first place, right? Namely, you should probably maybe get some help, or, right, you can even ask me for help. Okay. In fact, before I forget, I don't understand. Hold on, John. I am going to set up some extra office hour times this week. I'll let you know when I get it set. I just found out the remaining meeting schedule for some of the committees I'm on. So now I can figure out where to put some extra office hour times. If you can't, I'm always here an hour before class starts. Just to answer questions. It's crazy. So John, what do you mean? Not random. Oh, John, were you the one doing stuff like people that exercise in the morning or something? There you go. So that would be biased. Maybe people that go in the morning stay longer. So that's not really representative of the population. So, you know, you don't have to be that specific. You could just say 87 randomly selected people or clients of the place. Okay. Oh, let me see. So here we go. Do I give grades on homework?
No.
Nope, I sure don't. So when you look at grades, let me see, do I have something in here? I do. It's just going to say, like, this check mark means it's good. It's going to have an X if it's incomplete. If you click on it and then hit View Feedback, you're able to see things I've marked up. So this is just an example of stuff. Does that make sense, everybody? So then don't just redo the whole thing because you don't know what's wrong. Actually, you only have to do what I've marked as wrong. You only have to correct those. Is that all right? Is that the question that was? Is that okay? Let me see. Yes, okay, cool. And by the way, I don't know if you guys is in, yeah, it's in the announcements, right? Here, how to view the notes I put on graded homework. So I actually have a whole little thing. Yeah, if it has an X, that means there's problems. Even if it doesn't have an X, you should look at it because if I give you full credit, it doesn't mean you got every problem right. It just means you didn't miss enough to make me worried. You should still go look at it to see what you got right, what you missed. Does that make sense? Homework and homework feedback are supposed to help you get ready for a test. Unless you don't use it. Then it doesn't do shit for you. Okay. I'm in a very ranty mood today, I think. So I got to be careful. I don't want to rant too much. All right. Whoa. Anything else from homework or anything before we get back into it?
For corrections, are we only able to turn it in once, and that's the credit we get for the assignment, or are we able to turn it in more after? If
Holy shit. Yeah. So no, one time. You can correct everything except the final exam once. This is not English class, or else I would have limited my amount of people I would take into the class like English does. Because, yeah, I'm not going to do first draft, second draft. So that's why you should take a little bit of time to get help with corrections before you turn it back in. Because if you turn it back in and it's not good enough, you're stuck at half credit or whatever, right? Okay. At the end of the semester, Caprice. What I will do for you is when I was on campus, after the second test, I would give out a summary sheet of grades, and it would show what your current average is, what your average would be with none of the homework turned in, and what your average would be with all of the homework turned in. So you can kind of see the range and where you would fall. I'm going to do something similar like that in the Canvas gradebook, because I really don't use the Canvas gradebook, but I can use it for that. And I'll tell you when that's going to happen. You can turn, holy shit, sorry. Today's a weird day for me. I had a couple meetings already. My brain's a little bit wonky, but early is fantastic. Not a damn thing wrong with early. So while the corrections are due the day of the final exam, you can turn it in any time up until then. Just don't turn around and give it back to me immediately without making sure about it, because you only get that one shot, right? So get some help, you know, do them right, and focus on new homework. Always focus on new homework so you don't get behind. How's that doing? You guys okay? All right.
Yes, everything's okay.
Okay. Spokesperson has spoken. All right. So what we're going to do, we got to finish up chapter 1, but it kind of leads into chapter 2. I am going to show you some stuff on the calculator today. I was desperately trying to load some an Android emulator onto my computer. I should have done it this weekend, but I didn't even think about it because they do have a TI calculator emulator on my Android phone. And it would have been great if I could have just put that up. But it's going to take a lot more work than I thought it was going to take. So I'm just going to use my normal calculator, and I'm going to take the phone and show it. Anyway, we're going to get into frequency distributions, right? I think that shows up in section 1, 2. And that's going to lead into something called histograms. But the very first thing I want to do is something even simpler than all that. So today's going to be a lot of looking at data. So get ready. Thank God we sort of left definitions behind for a bit, right? I mean, definitions are so fun, so we can only take so much of them. Okay. Yeah, that looks, is that all right? We move it over that way. That's better. Do it, Jeff. Can you? Yes. All right. Oh, somebody's chatting at me. Does that mean we can also use an online version of the graphic calculator? For homework, sure. For quizzes that require, oh, that makes me that reminds me. Before we do this, I have a little practice quiz because what's happening on Wednesday? I'm very happy.
Quiz.
Eleanor, huh? Yeah, it's a quiz. Yeah. Sorry, you're all like, dude, no. If you are able to look on Canvas right now, I'm going to pull this up here too. In Unit 1, there's a new thing called Chapter 1 Practice. So I'm gonna here, let me share with you. Let me go back a step. You guys can see my canvas? So
Yeah.
down here, this used to have just the one thing in it. It was just such a boring little thing. Now it's got double the content. Watch out. So Chapter 1 Practice. It's a little practice sheet to get ready for the quiz. So let me pull it up here in a better format. Oops, where did I put you at? Oh, that's right. Stop sharing. So if you have Canvas, go there right now and pull that up for yourself. Where are you? There you are. Let me pull it up here too. What's happening? Oh, I decided. Yeah, we're going to do all of it in class. So I will give you the time you need during class. It's the only way I can do it in a way that maintains integrity and make sure everybody has time. Because if I make it due that night, some people go work and they don't get off work until after midnight, right after class. So then they're like, well, thanks a lot, dude. So this is definitely time that everybody should have free. So this is when you're going to do quizzes. Let me see. Can everybody see the Chapter 1 group work now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if you can access Canvas right now, access Canvas. And this is posted in the Unit 1 module. So you just go straight there for yourself. So this is practice. This isn't a quiz. This is nothing. This is just practice. So go ahead. How many of you guys, can you guys hit the yes if you cannot access this on your own right now? You're relying on my sharing the screen. How many people are relying on sharing the screen? Okay, I'm going to look at chat and the yes thing because some of us maybe don't know how to say yes yet. Just for us to practice. Don't turn that in. I got enough stuff already to look at. Please don't turn this in. Please. Okay, just a couple people. Okay, I can deal with that. It looks like. Or else everybody else has no idea how to tell me. Okay, so go ahead and start working on this sucker. The two people that are relying on me sharing this, let me know when you need me to scroll down. Do what you can, and then I'm going to let you guys talk with each other in little breakout rooms. I know some of you guys just love them breakout rooms. Oh, and then we'll do it together as a class, just as a practice to get ready for the quiz on Wednesday. I'll shut up. I'll stop recording too. This is not a very exciting part. Did I ever start recording? Yes, I did. Damn it. Whenever I do the breakout rooms, this is not your job, but if somebody can remind me to turn that back on, I always forget. Damn it. Oh, you're fine, Alexis. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make a joke at your expense. I understand that. All right, has everybody got that data? Data. Okay, so let me move up here. All right, so I was thinking this is not the best data to do this with, but then I decided it actually is. And what the shit does that mean, Jeff? So, do I have this set up okay? Let me see. God, I can't wait till we're back in a room. Jeez. Please, someday. There we go. All right, let me see if I can make this better. All right, cool. Sure. Why don't you want to work? Okay. So, one way to do this, one way to kind of represent this real quick is something called a stem and leaf plot. So do you see how I could write this like 6 and 7 and start writing all the 60-something, 60-something? So what do I mean by that? What's the lowest 60-something that's in there in the list? Shit, where is the list? There it is.
64.
64.
64. Okay, right? 64. And is there more than one? There's 64, and there's 2 of them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody help me out. As you go through, you can cross them out so we don't count them twice.
65.
But now, real quick, before we keep going, this is the normal way you would do a stem and leaf, and normally you'd have more of these. When you don't have a lot, well, I'm only going to have 2 rows. Let me do this. So this will be 60 to 64. This will be 65 to 69. So now I can keep going. How many 65s do I have?
2.
2 65s. 66s. Yes. Looks like I got 1 66. Are you guys all with me? So stem and leaf. So this is the stem, and these are the leaves. There's only 1 66, right? 2 66s.
Yeah, there's 2.
And then 60, let's see what else is in the next one, 68. There's 2 of those. And then 69, there's 1. All right, so I mean, is this difficult?
No.
So whatever Sandy, thank you. That's very good of you. So Sandy's put the data in the chat in case somebody didn't get it written down. Now 70s. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. And then let's see, 71. There's 1, and then it looks like there's 4, 5, 72, 6. Holy shit! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? I'm going to keep going until you guys correct me. And then 73 looks like there's 173, and then 274. So that's a long row. And then let's see, what about above that? Is there any above that? Is that the highest one?
76.
Oh, is there a 76? I can just see. My life would be easier. There it is. 76. Is that all of them? Let me see. There's 1.
There's 1 more 0 for 7. There's 6 zeros.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you're right. All right. And then we can count and make sure we've got all of them. That's good enough. I need to include a key like that so people know how to read this. Do you see that? Always include a key, because if my data had been 6.4, 6.4, 6.5, this would look exactly the same, but I would just say 6 line 4 is 6.4. So then people know how to read the whole thing. How are we doing? Is that understood? All right, so stem and leaf is one of the nicer ways to do things. Okay, so now we've got this in order, and that's going to become very useful very soon. Maybe I'll leave this and I'll go to the other side. Is the other side clean? Yes. Has everybody got that written down? Maybe. Okay. Oh, I love it. I'm such a geek. That just kicks so much ass. Now, my Jeff, my highest. So here's something called the range, and the range is high minus low. So what was the range of this data?
76 minus 64.
I like it. Coolness. Let me see, is there somebody? Oh. Here we go. All right, so that's the range. Now, let me take a little sidestep here. Let's say that, how do I want to say this? Let me see if you guys can just handle this directly instead of me making all these different analogies. I want to make a picture that looks like this, and we've all seen this kind of thing. You guys have all seen this kind of graph, right? This kind of graph? I know somewhere we've all seen.
Yeah, we did.
We are going to create this kind of graph by first setting up a table, frequency distribution table. That's what section 1.2 wants from you. And then we're going to go to the next step and create this graph. We must use between 5 and 10 bars, especially for this class. 5 bars for a smaller sample, and then you go up towards 10 bars as your sample gets really, really, really big. We have a very small sample, right? So we're going to use 5 classes for this. There it is. So I want to go from 64 up to 76, and I want to use 5 bars, what's also known as classes. Let me stop for a minute. Is everybody with me so far? So who knows what I'm going to ask next? What do we need to figure out mathematically? So I've got to go 12. I've got to cover 12 bits of data with, we're going to use 5 bars because we have such a small sample. How wide should each bar be? What's the math that I want to use then?
Divided by 5.
Yeah, I got to do how far I want to go. So the class width, this is important. This is huge. This is our first real formula. Class, well, I guess that was it. Class width is going to be range divided by number of classes. Dadgummit. I got some new markers coming. There we go. All right, let me stop for a minute. Let me just let you guys absorb and ask if you have any questions. Now, in the book, in chapter 1 especially, but I think in chapter 2 in a lot of places, they give you the classes. I'm going to expect you to make your own classes because I'm evil. You need to know that now.
Does it have to be 5, or could it be?
No, it doesn't have to be. So,
It
to
has to
be
be
honest,
between 5 to 10.
yes, for this class, between 5 and 10, we'll never use 10. So to be honest, for this class, 5 or 6, because you only go 5 to 6 to 7 when your sample size starts getting to be 100, 1,000, 5,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's actually a formula to figure out how many classes, and it involves logarithms. I have decided not to use that formula because it's overkill, right? If it's a small sample, use 5 or 6. If it's a big ass sample in the thousands, use 9 or 10. That's a good, somewhere in there. You guys okay with me so far? I mean, I'm never going to give you 800 data points to work with. Thank the gods, because I don't want to work with that either.
Can you explain just a little bit more about what the class is, like what it means?
Oh, so a class, so let's do it. We haven't created them yet. Visually, it's just how wide the bar is. So this bar represents a class. So the word class just means like a label. Stuff from 64 to something and something and something. Which I know is very descriptive, but each bar is a class. So let's create the classes now. What did we get for the width, by the way? I didn't catch up to you guys. The range was 12. Divided by 5 is what? Right? The range is 12. Divided by 5 classes gives you
2.4.
2.4. And you can always round it up. So we don't have to use decimal class size. That's trying to be a 3 down there, sorry. Right? Round up 2.4. All right, let me stop for a minute. Let me just stop right there. Never use the decimal, dear God. Don't be so mean to yourself. Go ahead and round that puppy up. So what we're going to end up doing, some of you guys might realize, since we just made our classes bigger than they have to be, we're going to overcover, but that's fine. We just want every data point. We just want we want them to have a place to go. We want them to have a home. Right? So it doesn't matter if I overcover. What would suck if I round this down, then I'm undercovering, and some data just goes, help us. Don't do that. Don't be evil like that. All right, what am I going to do? I don't know. So watch it. Here we go. Let's make these classes. So the first class should start at what number?
64?
64.
Look, you could have started at 60, but why? Basically start at the first data point, or else you're almost guaranteed to screw something up. But in real life, in general, if you want to, you can start at anything below 64. Now, help me out. If the first class starts at 64 and the width is 3, where should the next class start?
7.
Say again?
7.
67, yeah. So help me. What's wrong with me doing this then? Which class would I put 67 into?
Second one.
Well, I don't know. Doesn't it go on both if I write that?
Then
So
you're doubling it.
what you have to do is that. So you can see the width this way, but you can't see it that way. All right, let me let that sink in. I'm going to show you a different way to set up the classes once we get this done. This is the textbook method. I'm going to show you a different way, and then you can do it either way you want to. But does that make sense? You can't put 67 there also, because then where would you count 67? Which home would it go into? Both. So you like double count it? So where's the next class got to start?
60.
70.
70, and then
73.
73, and then
76.
beautiful. And then it's just, add 3 down this way. Add 3, add 3. Everything's add 3 because that's how wide the classes are. So does all of our data have a home? Yes. Did I end at the last data point? No. Who gives a shit? Like I told you, we're going to overcover it, but 76 has a place to go. All right, let me stop there for a minute. You guys, are you guys doing all right?
We're doing all right.
Okay. So now I'm going to do something called freaky. It's actually called frequency. How frequently does data show up in each class? So how many data points from 64 to 66 were there as I knock myself out?
2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wasn't there? 64 to 66, right? be careful. Not how far apart are those, how many data points are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does anybody not see that?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yep. So on this picture over here, this picture that everybody's seen some version of, why is this bar taller than that bar? What would that mean about whatever these represent?
There's more data points for it?
More
Or-
data points. So what should I be doing then for each of these classes to figure out how tall the bars are going to be? How many data points? So how many data points are 64, 65, 66? How many data points fall in this class?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. What about 67 to 69?
Three.
3.
Is everybody seeing where these numbers are coming from, or anybody not seeing? It's okay if you're not, just let me know. Somebody's got something happening. Oh, somebody's got a thumbs up and somebody else says yes. Okay. So that's 3. Oh, this is neat. I'm just so geeking out over this whiteboard. 70 to 72. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 73 to 75. 1, 2, 3. Are you guys doing all right? Am I making you dizzy?
Nah.
No, this is
Very
good.
good.
And then there's 1 in there, right? And just to double check, how many total numbers were there?
26.
Let's see. 26, yes. And then how can I double check to make sure things look right on what we've just done?
And add up the frequency.
Add up the
Yeah,
frequencies.
if you add these up, it better be 26, and thank God it is. Right, 4, 10, 26. Yay! Check. So just do that check for yourself real quick. Oh, it so sucks when this is 25, and you're like, ah, shit. Who did I miss? That sucks, it does, but oh well, too bad, it's gonna happen. Okay. Now this is okay, but we do much better as humans. We do much better with percentages, which is why we made them up. That's why we created them. What percentage of the data is in this first class?
6 out of 26. So
Beautiful. And this is called relative frequency, or I call it real freak. And what is 6 divided by 26?
23%?
How's what?
23?
23 sounds about right. I guess that's rounded quite a bit, right? So if you do 3 divided by 13. Yes, okay, I like it. Now let's do this. Go one more place. Is that right? I mean, do that. That's what I mean to say. We're going to do this by hand, so going more than one decimal place doesn't make any sense. And then if you keep going, 3 out of 26 would be 11 point.
What?
I don't know. What is it?
11.5.
5? Okay. And then 13 out of 26 is really nice because it's exactly half. That kicks ass. And then 3 we did that one already. And then 1 out of 26, I don't know, 3.8. 3.8?
yeah,
All right, let me stop for a minute. Let me erase this. We already have this. I don't want this messing anybody up. All right, let me step back. So is that? Can't.
Wait, so can you please just explain how you got the numbers next to like the, you know, like in the classes section, how it says like 66, 69?
Okay, so again, I started at 64 because that was the lowest data point. The class width is 3. That's what I just erased over there. So where should the next class start?
67, because it's 3.
I love it. So this
Yes.
can't be 67 also, or else 67 would have been counted twice. So we make it 66.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
How many numbers actually show up? How many data points have we counted? 64, 65. Ah, 3. It's still a width of 3.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you got the 3, but how does 2.4 round up to 3?
Do it again.
Oh, for the width? For the
Okay.
class
so
width?
We're not really rounding then, are we? I might have said round it up because we're forcing it up.
Okay.
Rounding in general means making it a whole number, and we normally take it to the closest one. But if we would have rounded down, then we would not have had enough bars to cover the whole data set. It would have been it wouldn't have gone far enough. So instead we went out to 78, but if we would have made it a width of 2, I would have needed more than 5 classes. I really want you guys to see that. Does that make sense? So you could use 2.4 as your class width if you really, really, really wanted to.
It would just complicate things.
It would complicate the shit out of things.
All right, I got you.
Don't do it. But you're right. We're not really rounding because rounding would be 2. We're rounding up always.
All right, got you.
So that everybody has a place to go and we're not leaving other people out.
I have a question. So is it the class? How, or the 5 through 10? What is that? Is that?
So in general, how many classes are we allowed to use?
Okay, so for majority of cases, are we going to be using 5, or does it depend on?
I would say 5 or 6 for sure.
Okay, got it.
But I mean, if I gave you 800 data points, then you might use 8 classes or 9 classes. But
Okay.
guess what? I'm not. If you're really wanting me to give you 800 data points, I'm not going to. Sorry. I know you're not, but don't worry. All right. So now I want to make this picture. Notice something about this picture. Are there any gaps between the bars?
No.
No.
In fact, if you did see this kind of picture with a gap somewhere, what would that gap mean?
That there's no represented numbers in that area?
Whatever class this is, there were nobody there. Like this is F's, D's, C's, B's, A's, and just nobody got a C, right?
Right.
That's what that would mean. So I can't have gaps unless some of my classes have 0. Any of my classes have 0.
No.
So can I have any gaps in my picture?
No.
No. Good. Stay with us. All right. So if I start to draw this, God, I really should have left myself more room. I should have splurged and bought the bigger one, but oh, too bad for me. If I try to do this, and I start at 64 to 66 and then 67, see how there's going to be a gap? I'm going to pretend like you said yes. So I can't do that. All right, so stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. So far, things have been a little bit freaky, but not too bad. They're going to get very freaky right now. So if you want to do it this method, this is the textbook method. These are the limits. Well, let me see. I'm careful. I always forget because I do it the other way. These are called the boundaries. There it is, Jeff. And then I want to talk about what the class. No, other way around, Jeff. I always get that mixed up. These are the limits. So, like for me, there's a limit to me. That's my cheek. The minute I go away, that's not me anymore, right? There's a limit to me. But then somebody can step in my boundary. And if you step in my boundary, I better know you. There's a boundary to me. There's kind of like a personal space, right? Get out my grill, all that kind of shit. Are you guys semi with me? So there is a limit. There's limits to this class. And then there's boundaries that go up. You're going to love the shit out of this. They go up and down by a half. So what happens if I go down by a half and up by a half? Where would the next one start at? I would go down by a half, and that would be 66. See how they overlap now? There won't be any gap on the picture. And this goes up by half. All right. And I know I'm putting these numbers here. You do not put these numbers here. Well, you're a powerful one. Wow, I'm going to get high on you. So this won't be 64. This will be 63.5 and then 66.5. And you just keep counting by 3. Am I going to be able to fit this on here? No. Poor little thing. Beep. All right. Let me, right now, this might be a great time to show you the alternate method, because maybe some more of you will buy into it. So another way to do this first class, I have no room here. I do need a bigger board. You're going to need a bigger board. So look at this class right here. Another way to write this class is anywhere from 64 to 67. But the reason people don't like writing it like this is because you have inequality symbols and variables. Oh shit. So stay with me, stay with me. If you don't like this at all, forget it. You got to do, but then you got to do this. You got to do the half thing. If you do the textbook method, you have to use boundaries. If you use this method, you don't. That's the trade-off. But so few people appreciate inequality symbols and X's. What values go in here? Would 67 go in here?
No.
Because 67 is not less than 67. So the next class would be 67 up to 70. So 67 does go in here because it's allowed to equal 67. So if you set your classes up like that, then these would just be 64, 67, 70. I hope to God somebody sort of sees what I'm saying here. So why does this method need me to go up and down by a half? Because otherwise there would be gaps, and that would be lying to people. It would make it look like there were classes that had nothing in them, and that's not true. Oh, let me see, Heidi, on my homework. Oh, get into the habit of taking them to percentages. And then you can use nice whole numbers on this axis. So it's up to you if you want to do this way or if you want to do this way. Don't mix, don't use half of one and half of the other one. That's not going to fly. How many people do I still have with me? I never know. I just see black boxes with names in them. Oh, jeez. Everybody went to get lunch. I understand. Okay, now, this scale here, it's going to be, now, I got to tell you, let's make a real freak, a relative frequency. And these are called, I haven't even told you what these are called. These are called histograms. Histogram. That's what they're called. Sorry, there you go, Frida. So if I want to make a relative frequency histogram, I want to use these numbers. I've got to go up to 50. You almost never go up to 100. If you go up to 100, your whole picture is going to be smushed like a little tiny city. No. Go up to 50. So maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There you go, Jeff. So this is the relative frequency. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, that's the highest bar that I'm going to have. If you wrote it in decimals, can we keep it that way? Oh, you're fine, Diana. Diana. Go percentages unless you've already done it, you're fine. It technically doesn't matter. But I just want to get us more used to percentages. And all right, let me stop for a minute, because all the hard work is done. All that's left is easy work. So now, how tall is that first bar going to be? Well, it's going to go up to 23.1, so it's going to go to right about there. It's all right, Jeff. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right? 23.1. So how tall that bar is. This one's going to be 11.5. This one's going to be 50. Waha! This is going to be 11.5. And the last poor little dude is 3.8. So it looks like the graph is kind of flicking us off. Sorry. Shooting us the bird. So there's one thing missing on this histogram, just one thing. And in a sense, it's the most important thing. I haven't written it down yet. What do you think is the most important thing to put on this?
Label.
A label. So I labeled this one. This is relative frequency. But what the hell is this?
Inches?
Who is it?
Inches?
No, it was heights. I might have said this really quickly earlier. Heights of fathers. Oh, in inches. I see. Did you say inches? I thought you said ages. Inches, yes. So don't just say inches, because that doesn't really tell me what it is. It's heights of fathers in inches. Considering the average height of a male is 69, I have a feeling that maybe some fathers overstated their height. But you never know. Maybe not. Maybe this is just a sample with a larger average than normal.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when we're doing the relative frequency histogram, do we have to write the decimals or do we write the whole numbers?
So I've decided to take these and make them into percentages. Somebody was asking in the chat if they could use 0.231. You can. Again, it's just better to use percentages because it makes it cleaner.
Well, on the bottom, like on the bottom of the graph, that's like 63.5. Do we use the like halves or do we use the full?
If you set up your classes like this, then you don't need the up and down by a half because then there won't be any gaps. If you set up your classes like this, then you better do the up and down by a half.
Okay.
So it's really up to you. You can decide. The book does it like this. I was taught this way. So, and this way is just better, but I'm not, if you don't do it this way, I don't give a shit. Either way is fine. They're both valid. Yep. We don't have to do the, what? I'm sorry. Oh, so again, we are in chapter 2 now. This was chapter 1. This is section 1, 2 has some frequency distribution things. This is section 2, where you create a histogram off of that. Do you understand now why I wanted to wait to do this? Because it goes right into this. So I might as well do it in chapter 2. There sometimes is a method to my madness. Sometimes. All right, let's see. What time is it? Do you guys want to? It's 3 o'clock. What time is class over? 3:20? There's no purpose to taking a break, is there? What about the, cumulative? I don't really care about cumulative too much. Has everybody got this here? Has everybody got this picture? I am recording, right? Yes. I'm recording it too. Anybody not have this picture? Okay. So let me make one more column. I always forget about cumulative frequency because it's not really used that much, but you do have to do it in the homework. All cumulative frequency is, I better write that one out. Let's see, cumulative freak. So far I've accumulated 23.1%. When I move down, now how much have I accumulated? 34.6%. You with me?
So you just add going down?
And now I add 50, so now I'm at 84.6%. So where should I end up?
100%?
Or close. Why sometimes won't it be exactly 100?
Because some of the numbers might be rounded?
Exactly, and that's going to happen to us here. So if I add 11.5, I'm going to get up to 6.1, is that right? And then when I add 3.8, I get to 99.9%. Why is that okay? Because this is rounded. So we just happened to round down one more time, then we rounded up. So your answer, it's got to be close. And what do I mean by close? off by at most 1%. And I mean at the most. So if you do this and you get 92%, no. You did something wrong. You with me? But if you get 100.7%, beautiful. That's because of rounding. It's not your bad. Okay. We did a lot. So to be honest, we just did 2-1 and 2-2. Yes. It's not bad. What do you guys think? You think it's enough for today? Uh-oh. Somebody just gave me a huge... Hold on.
Very enough for today.
Very much enough? Okay.
My brain is lightly fried.
Oh, only lightly fried. Okay.
Just lightly.
I could go a little bit long. No, I guess I don't want to push it. I don't want you sauteing your brain in your head. All right, so that's enough. Hang out. It looks like at least 1% has a question. Otherwise, you can head out if you want to.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
This more pertains to the first homework that you gave us, the 1.1. But like, what exactly do you mean by data?
Data is the answer to the question. So if they're asking you for data, you have to give numbers or words. You can't give a definition. So if for like the hair color example, the data would be blonde, brown, black, right?
Okay.
If it was times working out in a gym, for example, you could say 7 hours, 2 hours.
So the data is just the answer, basically.
Yeah, the collection of answers.
Gotcha.
So that's why they say give examples where appropriate. That's definitely somewhere you want to give examples.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have a question regarding the quizzes. I know you mentioned we'd be taking them in class.
Yes.
How will it work?
So what you'll do, and I should have checked with everybody before they left, but I'm going to want everybody's, camera turned on so that I can see what the hell you're doing. I'm going to make it active on Canvas. So we're going to have class, and then at some point I'm going to stop us and I'm going to say, okay, go ahead. I'm going to make the quiz active on Canvas now. You go in. You don't have to print it out, especially if you're not able to. You can print it out or not. You can just start working on the problems, and then you scan it and submit it, and I'll let you know how much time you got left so you can be sure to get it turned in on time. Does that make sense?
Yes. And the scanning, all of that will be all during class, correct?
That's right. So you'll scan it and then you submit it right where it says quiz, exactly like you do with the homework.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Let me see, Alexi. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're fine. Oh, I see. If I haven't graded it yet, Alexi, then you actually have time to resubmit, and I don't even count it as a term yet. Yeah, there's an app for your phone. To be honest, I'm not sure if it could possibly act as a camera too at the same time. That would be difficult. I would think you could. Yeah, Caprice says yes. So at the time when the quiz starts, you would just turn your camera on in the app and then situate it so that it can see you, and then you do the quiz. In that case, though, John, you're going to need to have a way to access the quiz. That's what I'm worried about. The quiz is going to be on Canvas, and if you don't have a way to access Canvas to either print it out or see it, that's going to be difficult. So,
I
have a question.
Oh, sorry.
What's up?
Sorry. So I don't, I use my phone for basically Zoom, and that's how I access Canvas as well, because right now I'm at my dad's house, so I won't be able to like access a computer. Is there any like way to like have for the tests? Because like I know you want the cameras to be on, so I won't be able to look at the test and have the camera on at the same time.
Yeah, I know. This is gonna be so. So Geneva, do you know how to turn your camera on? Are you in a
Yeah,
you can?
I can turn it on.
All right. So
I can
tell me, so right now, are you looking at the screen or is it turned around?
I'm looking at the screen.
Oh, good. So are you able to right now kind of like open a browser in your phone? Let's see.
I can open the browser, but I don't know if. But
So,
I don't think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think the camera stays on when I open the browser.
All right. Let me see.
It doesn't on a phone. When you have your camera on and because you have to exit out of Zoom to open a new tab on your phone, it blocks your video too.
That sucks. All right.
Yeah.
So let me see. Geneva, and then there was one other person. Caprice, you're in the same situation? Who else is on their phone?
No, I'm not, but I used Zoom for the past months in high school, and that's what would happen.
All right. Well, I'll work with you guys. Whoever's, we'll talk about it real quick at the beginning of next class. Between now and then, I'll check in with some of my colleagues and see if they figured anything out about that. We'll figure it out, Geneva, because it's not on you to figure out. You know, if you don't have another connection, that's nothing that's on you. So I'll see what I can in the meantime if there is another answer for it. Okay.
Okay.
How's everybody?
I have a question real quick. So when it came to scanning my work, I usually scan from the printer in my bedroom. I'm mainly doing Zoom through like through the desktop through my desktop computer in the living room of my house. So you know how we have to scan like our work like during class.
You're fine. When you're done with the quiz, you just send me a chat saying I'm gonna go scan it in now, and not a big deal. I mean, if the scanning takes 20 minutes, that's gonna get suspicious. But I mean, if you're done, you're like, I'm gonna go scan it now, and like 3 minutes later, I've got it. No worries. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was trying to like process in my head like how am I gonna do this because I tried like because when I tried downloading like other apps for like scanning, like the scans don't like come out as good as like how I did it with my printer like
You're
at
fine.
home.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how long would you like give us? What's like the max time would you give us to scan our work when we're done with a quiz?
But you said the scanner's just in the other room. Is that right?
I use my printer in my bedroom to scan stuff.
Yes.
So,
So it's right there. So it shouldn't take too long. I mean, if you're having
it's actually upstairs. Like it's a.
Oh, I'm not gonna say you got 37 seconds. Go. You know, it just has to be within a reasonable amount of time.
Like 6 minutes.
10 minutes might be a bit much, but yeah. It shouldn't take too long, right? I mean, just let me know when you're going to go scan, and then let me know if there's technical issues.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
So, I know you mentioned if you need to do homework corrections, you can do them before the final, anytime before the final.
Yes.
Why does an X show up next to the homework on Canvas?
That just means incomplete, and you know how to access the notes I put on there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then.
Okay, so that's just what it means.
Yep.
Okay.
So that just means you currently have half credit, unless I say redo, in which case you have no credit until you make the corrections, and you can get back up to full credit if you get enough corrections right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you change the due dates of the homeworks till tomorrow?
Yes, because I hadn't covered this, and I forgot it's in 1-2. So I figured I shouldn't make it due before I actually talk about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was gonna ask questions about the correction that you put on the homework. I was wondering if like right now is a good time, or do you want me to come to office hours?
To do what? I'm sorry, say it again.
I was wondering if like right now would be an okay time, or would you want me to come like before
To
class?
do what? To do what?
The talking about the homework. Like
Yeah,
that
you can ask about homework. Why not? How's everybody else? Anybody else have any specific questions about anything? Or are you guys just?
I just
Yes.
I heard you mention it earlier. You said, I didn't catch it, but you said if you don't look at it, you won't count it as like if you turn in the homework and you don't grade it yet and you resubmit it. What did you say?
I look at your most recent submission. So if I haven't looked at your submission yet and you're worried because there were some things on there that you know is wrong, you do have time to resubmit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I look at it and then I'm going to say correct, and then you have to make corrections and you only get one chance at that. So if you want to do something right now and resubmit it, do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even going to be able to grade anything else until like tonight or tomorrow morning. So I got meetings and classes the rest of the day. So you got some time. Yeah.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Let's see. Anybody else have specific questions before I help out Alexi? Is anybody else actually here? Yannette, John, Jonathan, Michael, Vanessa.
I'm about to leave. Thank you, though.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. And the rest of you guys logged in and went to bed. Okay. Oh, there we go. Alexi, so what's up?
Okay, so for my homework, specifically on the parameter, I got a lot of which underlined. Did you mean like be more specific as like using all instead of like
Yes.
equal?
Yes.
Okay.
Parameter, you got to be really certain that everybody understands it is referencing the population.
Okay.
So the population, you should use the word all or something like that. So the parameter, you should use the same thing.
Okay. Wait, you said for the population and the parameter use all?
Yeah, so for example, if the population is all German Shepherds, then a parameter could be the average tail length for all German Shepherds is 7.2 inches. That would be a parameter because it's describing a population. If I said the average tail length of dogs is like, which dogs? A certain group? What do you mean? All of them. Oh, shit, you mean all of them. Okay. Yeah.
And then specifically, I got on the parameter and the statistic, I got X's on the words average.
Weird. Because which problem was that?
46 and 47 with the marriage counseling and the voting.
They weren't talking about averages. They wanted to know the proportion, the percentage.
I'm a 46 and 47. Oh, okay, I see it now. Okay.
The parameter and statistic are either averages or percentages, proportions.
But we have
to learn other
it.
things. But that's what the two things they could be right now. Yeah.
Okay, that was all.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.